All right. So I thought it'd make sense to first start with our guest speaker. I know sometimes we do guest speaker segments later in the session, but since we're doing a full recap of 2020 and introducing what to expect in 2021, I'd like to introduce Amy Schreckengost. Again, she's our International Sales Manager, and David Kurywchak, VP of Sales and Service. All right, I see you guys there. Go ahead, Amy.
Great, thank you, Angie, and thanks everybody for attending today. And we'll go ahead and get started with Q&A with David K. So 2020 was really a year for the history books. What were some of the biggest challenges that SAE faced in 2020, and how did SAE address those challenges?
Thank you, Amy, and hello, everyone, and welcome. I see as I've logging on here, I see a lot of familiar names in the chat and a lot of people we've worked with and visited with over the past. And it's unfortunate we haven't been able to see each other for a while. So it's nice to see a lot of you and interact with you. So yeah, Amy, SAE is a company that brings people together, whether it's standards committees, events, professional development, training, what have you. And, we could no longer do that. So the question became, how do we replicate that experience in a virtual environment and still continue our work in creating standards, disseminating information to our members, content users, other stakeholders. So like most organizations, we went virtual. In 2020, we conducted 8 virtual events, including our annual WCX, Aerotech, and Convec conferences. We conducted 255 virtual professional development training classes. And in 2020, we published 1,119 newer revised SAE standards. And to put that into some perspective, in 2019, we published about 1,300 newer revised standards. So we were able to maintain our pace even in the face of the pandemic. So while the ability to not meet face-to-face was challenging, it also presented an opportunity. We found we could actually reach more people virtually, especially our international audience. People didn't have to travel across the globe to attend an SAE event or a training or participate in a standards committee meeting. So they could do it all virtually from the safety of their own homes. So this really opened up a lot of new opportunities for people to engage with SAE. And it's something we'll look to continue once we're through the pandemic and we're able to meet in person. Lastly, to address the pandemic and offer assistance, SAE offered several standards for free to aid in the COVID-19 relief efforts. We're providing access to standards that aid industry in supplying medical support during the COVID-19 pandemic. These standards include specifications and recommended practices for the transportation of cargo on the main deck of passenger airplanes to assist in getting medical needed supplies between countries. So this includes 9 cargo standards, and you can find those on SAE.org under the Help and Resources section.
So aside from the free cargo standards that you just mentioned, what other work is SAE doing in response to COVID-19?
Yeah, so, SAE International is working with existing technical committees and partnering with external stakeholders to assist with safe air transport through the COVID-19 pandemic and afterward. This past year, we supported the A4A Aircraft Cabin Cleaning Disinfecting Task Group, and we have 4 SAE AMSJ specifications referenced by IATA for COVID-19 cleaning and disinfecting. We're also a member of the RTCA SC241 committee on guidance for aircraft cleaning and disinfecting. And, a few other examples of recent work regarding COVID-19, our SAE S9B committee, which focuses on cabin interior and furnishings. This group is working with the FAA and NIAR on a research project to examine the effects of the most common cleaning agents on seats and cabin interiors. So they'll be developing an ARP, which is an aerospace recommended practice based on the findings of this project. And the SAE Seat Committee addresses all facets of aircraft seats, not only design and maintenance, but cleaning. And this group issued an information letter in June of 2020 on cleaning and disinfecting aircraft seats. And an updated letter based on further analysis and research is due soon.
Excellent. Now back to the topic of complementary resources. What are those publications and how can they be accessed via SAE Mobilis?
So yeah, SAE Mobilis is an open platform, which means you can search across all the SAE publications and other related content, even if you don't have a subscription. So you can read the metadata and abstracts of any standard tech paper, ebook, journal article, or magazine. You can also take advantage of the help and resources section for additional information and use the filters within Mobilis to gain access to complementary content and open access journal articles. So we have the free cargo standards I just mentioned earlier. We have white papers, we have tech insights, and we have open access journal articles. We also recently started publishing case studies that focus on the impact SAE has had on our stakeholder organizations. SAE partnered with Eaton on a case study around developing and training engineering talent for the future workforce using SAE content. We also partnered with ExxonMobil on a case study that tells the story of a young fuels and lubricants engineer new to the industry who was able to publish and present a paper on a significant technological breakthrough at one of SAE's fuels and lubricants events back in the early 90s. This opportunity not only launched his career, but also resulted in ExxonMobil commoditizing the technology into a product that's still on the market today. So those are two very interesting ones, and Angie has just shared those out for everyone to download. In the future, we're looking at case studies on aerospace standardization, diversity in engineering, and also focusing on engineering education at the academic level.
Great. So SAE actually has a product launching next week called SAE OnQ Digital Standard System. Can you give us a brief overview?
Yeah, so before I talk about OnQ, let's go back a few years. Back in 2016, we launched SAE Mobilis. And you can think of Mobilis as a digital platform that helps engineers, students, and those who support them do their work. It's an integrated, comprehensive library of all of SAE's content with standards at its core. Now we want to take the work of those students and engineers into a new era with OnQ. It's an application that takes the SAE standards from the library and actually puts them into the workstation. OnQ enables users to access the smallest details of those standards and work with them quickly, easily, and reliably with today's digital design tools. So if you think about how standards were accessed right now, most users have a platform where you can do a keyword search and you can pull up relevant documents that contain those keywords. But to find the standard that has, for example, a specific part, say a bolt of a certain size and material, you need to page through those documents manually until you find the specification you're looking for. So you may spend days or weeks reviewing dozens of documents until you find what you need. So OnQ really flips that process. You can now quickly search on a specific requirement of the part or material you need and get a much more narrow and defined set of results to find the specific standard you need. The result is a dramatic increase in efficiency, accuracy, and knowledge. What used to take days to find now can take minutes. So the initial release of OnQ focuses on aerospace material standards. And later in the first half of the year, we'll add part standards and branch out into other sectors, ground and commercial vehicles, for example. So for more information, I encourage you to visit SAE.org, and we'll also be sharing a white paper on this topic as well.
So while we're on the topic of aerospace, let's focus on that. With travel halted globally and many aircrafts grounded, what is the 2021 outlook for the aerospace industry?
Yeah, so 2021 will be challenging for aerospace, no doubt. Passenger traffic is expected to be about 40% below pre-pandemic levels, with some analysts not expecting travel to return to normal until 2025. Also in 2021, global commercial aircraft deliveries are estimated to decline around 44%. And due to lower aircraft utilization, sales of aftermarket parts and services, as well as maintenance and repair, will also remain weak into 2021 and beyond. And if we look at the two major airframers, both Boeing and Airbus, they've been hit by cancellations and deferral of orders and have reduced production by about a third, which is expected to continue into 2021. So this will continue to affect the supply chain as well, which in some cases had actually been expanding prior to COVID to meet demand. On the positive side, looking at defense aerospace, production has been shielded somewhat to maintain readiness. So this is protecting the defense OEMs and their supply chains, and demand is secured by budgeted government spending. So global defense spending is expected to actually grow by about 2.8% in 2021. Some other trends in Europe, we'll see in 2021 the formal exit of the UK from the European Union, which means the UK will also leave EASA. And that could mean a greatly expanded role for the UK CAA in regulation and certification of aviation in the UK. And in terms of new technology, regulators, you get the FAA, EASA, as well as ICAO, will continue the work of integrating new technologies despite the effects of COVID-19. Key areas of current and future focus are in autonomy, propulsion, unmanned systems, digital transformation, manufacturing and new materials, and the exploitation of data and artificial intelligence. Urban air mobility is another area that's getting a lot of focus lately and will be a key focus into 2021 and beyond from both a regulatory and a technology perspective.
So now shifting to the automotive sector, automated driving, ride sharing, and electric vehicles were some of the disruptors in the automotive industry pre-COVID. Can you share any details on what the future of this industry will look like?
Yeah, so on the automotive side, as predicted back in 2020, as a result of COVID-19, sales of cars and heavy trucks are going to see a decline anywhere between 20 to 30% year over year, probably for the next 2 years. However, one positive result of the COVID-19 lockdowns is a clear reduction in emissions. A study published by Nature Climate Change found significant drops in daily carbon dioxide emissions, with a decline of about 17% in 2020. But at the same time, automakers are beginning to expand their business in the electronic mobility sector. By 2025, every third new car sold is anticipated to be propelled or assisted by an electric battery. So with climate change becoming clearly more visible throughout the world, the demand for clean technologies will continue to grow. A strong electric vehicle uptake is expected globally, with sales increasing in China and Europe, especially given pro-electric vehicle regulations expected in the European Union. Over the next decade, mobility services and autonomous vehicles are already in the early stages of another revolution in the automotive sector. China is projected to lead the market by 2040, with projected autonomous vehicle sales of 14.5 million units. And as an international SDO, SAE is witnessing growing Chinese participation on a global stage and their desire to lead standardization efforts. What's certain is that the growing wave of technology is redefining mobility. The car is changing, with electronics and software growing in prominence in terms of its value in the vehicle. Such features require skills outside the traditional core competencies of automotive engineering. In fact, vehicle software content is estimated to grow at a compound annual rate of 11%, making up roughly 30% of the vehicle by 2030. So while product development may have temporarily slowed because of COVID-19, it didn't stop, and research continues on advanced technologies. And SAE is working to diversify and expand standards in areas such as data exchange, software, simulation, artificial intelligence, and urban and shared transportation systems.
So last year, many organizations spent time reinvesting in their employees' personal development. With this trend expected to keep growing, how should people go about finding these opportunities from SAE?
Yeah, so earlier I shared a few stats on the work we've done in professional development at SAE in conducting virtual training courses and e-learning. And I wanted to expand on that a little more. So in 2020, we trained over 10,300 engineers, with over 5,400 earning CEUs. In addition, we had over 6,300 participants taking e-learning courses. So even without the ability to meet in person, we were able to engage and train a lot of engineers. Training is even more critical right now. We just talked about all of the new technology and research and development in both the automotive and aerospace sectors. Furthermore, the COVID-19 pandemic has forced many companies to shift focus and change their businesses to survive. So in the aerospace sector, we're launching a new training titled Electrochemical Energy Systems for Electrified Aircraft Propulsion, Batteries and Fuel Cell Systems. So this is a joint AIAA and SAE course where participants will learn about electrochemical energy systems with an emphasis on electrified aircraft propulsion and power applications. We're also launching the fundamentals of prognostics and health management for aerospace systems, where engineers can learn the basic tenets of PHM. In the automotive sector, we're really excited to launch our new Robotics for Autonomous Vehicles Systems Bootcamp in May of this year. This is a 12-week intensive, hands-on blended learning experience to gain relevant industry knowledge for robotics for autonomous vehicle systems. We're also launching a course called Using Drones for Mapping Accident Reconstruction Scenes in the second quarter of 2021. And you can find a list of all the courses SAE offers, as well as the upcoming schedule of courses on SAE.org if you just click on the Learn tab at the top of the screen.
I saw Amy's out. I'm not sure if we lost her, but I have the questions up so I can pick up if we don't have her.
We'll shift interviewers. So
yeah, no worries. Yeah, keep it exciting. And Amy, if you end up coming back on, feel free to chime in. Her next question that she had for you was, SAE developed a brand new department focused on customer success. Can you tell us more about how some of these initiatives will impact our customers?
Well, funny you're asking me about this, Angela. So yeah, I'm really excited about this and what we're able to offer. And this department is led by our very own Angela Kenner, who hosts these and presents these webinars each month. So our goal in creating this group was to make it easier for our customers and stakeholders to engage with SAE. The primary goal is focused on SAE Mobilis. And we wanted to make sure customers were using and finding value in the content on Mobilis. So we created how-to videos found in the help section to show users how to access content and how to use the filters and features on the Mobilis platform to find things more quickly, highlight and annotate documents, share and collaborate with others, organize content, save searches, among the other features. Outside of the videos, we've also begun conducting virtual training sessions for our customers on how to use Mobilis and find content. And these will evolve into in-person sessions, of course, once we're through the COVID-19 pandemic and we can safely travel again. We're also conducting business reviews with customers. And this is a process where we review their usage of SAE content over the past year and really show the value and return on investment for their investment. This also allows us to identify any areas or content sets that may not be used as much and create an engagement plan to drive usage of that content. These engagement plans help the administrators essentially advertise the SAE content that's available to all their users to assist their users in gaining access to that content. So the goal with all this really is to ensure our customers know what SAE content is available to them, how to quickly and easily access and use that content to solve their problems and enable their work. We're also focused on helping customers engage with SAE overall, whether it's becoming an SAE member, attending or presenting at an SAE event, taking a professional development course, or getting involved in standards development. So customer success is really about all the ways that we can help you engage with SAE.
Yeah, we're doing a lot with that too. So thanks for highlighting all those things. One of the series, the Move with SAE Mobilis series, which we're on today, this was new for 2020. Can you share some information on how the idea was developed to launch a program like this?
Yeah, so this is an important part of customer success. We often hear from customers that one of their main needs is to be informed on what new content is publishing from SAE. So at the start, that's what we set out to do. We wanted to publish a monthly newsletter and distribute it to Mobilis users, informing them of new publications and where to find them on SAE Mobilis. From there, the program quickly grew. We began including additional information in the newsletter on upcoming SAE events, on professional development courses, news and information on SAE membership, and important updates from SAE standards committees. So as the newsletter grew, we saw an opportunity to expand our outreach by doing these monthly webinars. And for those of you that attend on a regular basis, you know that we do much more than just highlight what's in the newsletter. We have speakers from many departments at SAE, as you'll be hearing later today, and we usually feature outside guests as well. And these are individuals from industry who are SAE authors, or standard committee leaders, or members to talk about how they engage with SAE. And this has been a very popular and exciting segment, and one that I think our regular attendees to the webinar look forward to the most. So to preview some of the upcoming speakers, so next month we're going to have Rhonda Waldhall from Collins Aerospace and Brenda Mitchell from Aloft Aero Architects to talk about their book called Flight Paths to Success, Insights from Women Leaders in Aerospace. In March, we'll feature Ken Washington, the CTO of Ford Motor Company, and he'll join us for a more in-depth look on what to expect from our annual WCX event. In June, we're excited to welcome Dr. Ravi Rajamani, who's the editor of our aerospace journals. And in September, we'll welcome Simona Honori, editor of our Journal of Electric Vehicles. So those are just a few of the upcoming speakers, and we'll add more to fill in the months as we go.
Yeah, excellent. And I see that we have Amy back, so I'm going to let her. Amy, we left off at talking about some of the guest speakers.
All right, perfect. Sorry about that, everyone. As we're already a year into having technical difficulties, that's one of them. At least I'm not on mute. But to jump right back in, so David, if any one of our participants today wants to learn more about one of these SAE programs or products, what's the best way to contact someone?
So the easiest way is go to SAE.org. If you scroll down to the bottom of the page under the contact section, you can always reach out to customer service. If they can't answer your question or problem, they'll find someone who can. There you'll also find a link called Participate, and I encourage you to click on that and explore, because that's where you can find information on SAE membership. You can click on the author link if you're interested in authoring content for SAE, which we encourage you to do. And there's a link to volunteer if you want to get more involved.
So as we wrap up this segment and begin a new year, what parting words do you have for our attendees today?
Well, so first of all, thank you. This has certainly been a year for the history books. A year we'll never forget, a year about which our children's children will be telling stories. But this is also a year, I think, when the work of SAE is more important than ever. And it really goes back to our mission statement to advance mobility, knowledge, and solutions for the benefit of humanity. I think that becomes more important as mobility is compromised in the wake of a global pandemic. And if you look at our vision statement, it's equally important. You know, SAE is the leader in connecting and educating mobility professionals to enable safe, clean, and accessible mobility solutions. And again, in the face of COVID-19, how important is safe, clean, and accessible mobility? And it will continue to be so more in the future. So again, I just want to say thank you to everybody. Keep doing the work that you're doing.
Thanks, David.
It's
that was
really
a great recap on what SAE has done in 2020. And from all of us at SAE, we want to wish everyone a happy 2021. And I think back to you, Angie.